All right. Hello, hello. Welcome everybody to the Boomers Conversation. Candid conversations with us boomers, us sexties. Hello, ladies, my fellow hosts. Thanks for joining.
Hi there.
Oh, I think Diane froze up a little bit, but she's there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she went out and coming back in.
Yes.
All right. So I do want to say, first of all, before we get into the heavy stuff, hey Diane, there you are. You get back in. Say hi. Diane.
Hi.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Can
So
you
I do
hear
want to
me?
say,
Hi.
yes, we can. Yeah, yeah.
Hi.
You
It
back
was out
live
for a
now.
while. We had a
You had froze up for a minute, but you back now.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Mm-hmm.
do want to say today I got
Okay.
my second shot, everybody. I
Hi.
got my second shot. Yeah.
Yay.
So I feel like come May the 2nd, I'll be free to move about the country. So it was just some insane happiness that happened from getting this second shot and thinking about where we were last year, where I was last year, knowing I wasn't going to be in a special group. And so knowing that I was going to be near the back of the line. And for it to be April, that I end up getting it and not June or July, I am ecstatic about that. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll see if I have any
Hmm.
anything behind it. The first one I just had what everybody else had, the sore arm after a shot, which I have when I get the flu shot. So I'll watch in the next 24 to 48 hours to see if I have any side effects. I wanted Pam to be on. She said she was going to be on. So hopefully she'll join before the end to talk about, because she actually did have some side effects for her from her
I did
second
too.
shot.
I
Did you?
I had side effects for 2 days.
Okay, we'll talk about it a little bit just so people will understand.
It was
Hmm.
a low grade temperature. Um, I'm usually pretty cold blooded, so it was like 97 degrees normal, but I got up to 99. Um,
Hey.
I had
Hey,
some
hey, hey, there
antibody.
she is.
Hi
Hi.
there. How are
Belle's
you?
telling us.
I'm on my phone. My laptop's misbehaving. But keep talking.
All
Okay.
right, well that's cool. Mel's telling us about her side effects from her second shot.
Oh, girl. Yes, let me hear.
So yeah, I was saying low grade temperature.
Okay.
Of course, the soreness in the arm, but then I had achy body all over.
Yes, yes.
Um, and then it was kind of I just wanted to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
slept and I didn't eat much,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
that didn't hurt.
Did you have a fever, a temperature at all?
I did. I had a low grade temperature. It was 99, but I'm usually at 97, so
Oh,
that for me
mine's got
is
up
a
to
little higher.
102. It
Uh
creep.
huh.
It kept going up and stopped at 102.
Mine
So
stopped at 100.4.
okay, okay. It was something, wasn't it? I mean, you knew it might happen, but when you're actually
Mm-hmm.
experiencing it, it was like, okay, it was all of a sudden I felt great, and then the next second I didn't. It was
Yes.
no warning. Okay, yeah, yeah, wow.
All right. Well, then I'll have to
Mm.
definitely make sure that I'm on the watch for that, like I said, the next 24 to 48 hours to make
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
sure that that I pay attention and
Mm-hmm.
Just
behave
take some
appropriately.
Tylenol. Take Tylenol
So
because
they
that's what
told me
kept my
not to take
temperature down.
any. They told me not to take anything. When I
Oh.
called our nurse help line, they
Uh
said
huh.
you want the fever and the vaccine to do its work, and the Tylenol or Advil suppresses that. So I didn't take anything. So the
Well,
fever
because I had
was,
a headache too, so they
I
told me
didn't
to
have a
take
headache,
Tylenol.
yeah, but yeah, the fever was the key. They said let that work itself through, but I feel fine now. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So it's like it didn't even happen, but yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
good, good. And then I think it's interesting. So, Pam, I'll just, spill the beans. So, not only her, but apparently several
Oh,
people that she worked with
on my
also had
team.
symptoms. A couple of
Mhm,
people that I work with
mhm,
had kind of those same things happen to
mhm,
them.
mhm.
So, something to be aware of for sure.
Absolutely.
Um, but I
Mm-hmm.
would rather have flu like symptoms, what they sound like to me,
Hmm.
rather than full blown COVID and end up in the
Absolutely.
hospital and possibly know, what else may come from that.
Hmm.
So I'm making
Yeah.
sure, that I
Yeah.
got my mind, mentally prepared for that if it happens. So I got my little fever thing ready my little thermometer, to check my temperature, and
Yeah.
hopefully my body will be ready. But
Yeah.
I'll make it through. You all made it through. I'll make
We
it
made it.
through.
Yeah, it's like it
Then
never
on the other
happened.
side, I'm gonna be like, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely don't regret taking it. That's for sure.
I
Yeah,
don't either.
I do
I
not
am
regret
so glad.
it.
Yeah, it is a big relief. And I really thought this time last year that it would be July before I was able to get a shot. You know what I'm saying? I knew I was going to be in one of the back groups. And
Hmm.
the Missouri started off so slow. They were still on 1B when other states were opening up to the Bs, and they were still in the A's, the ones. So it's a nice thing that have happened.
Yeah, we
Hmm.
caught up. We caught up. We had a slow start, very slow
Yep.
start.
Yep.
But they have really made up for the lack of presence in the city of St. Louis. I mean,
Yep.
they have the convention center. And they're begging for people to come. They could do
Yep.
like 3,000 a day. So it's a huge difference. Yeah.
And then they're also about to pivot and try to move really into the community and get to the churches and the community centers and stuff to get to some of the people who, for transportation reasons or just mobility issues, can't, come out and get it. So that's happening here too. So it's it's a wonderful thing.
Yes, it is.
I just wish these Fox viewers, you know, these anti-vacciners would grow some freaking cojones, do what they know they need to do.
Well,
I
no,
still
just
don't
get a
understand the
brain.
group mental mentality. I don't understand that group thinking. I don't get it. So much has happened in the past 7 days.
Yes.
Where do we start? We have a whole nother police shooting today, North Carolina, yesterday.
Elizabeth City. Yes.
No, North Carolina.
I
Hmm.
didn't hear about. I
Not
didn't
to
hear
mention
about
the
it.
one that happened in Indiana. I'm sorry, Ohio.
Ohio.
In
Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah. Um, it just blows the mind, the lack of understanding where you are in the world and what's going on around you, that you think that it's still okay for you to pull that pistol out when you're dealing with, some blacks in a situation, and still think that that is the solution of choice.
Right.
Hmm.
Now, having said that, I will say this: the little video that they've shown, I haven't gone out looking for anything, but what I've seen that they showed on the news, I don't feel the same way about that one that I feel about George Floyd. Ooh, I think we have Renee. Hold on, y'all. Oh no, this is Pam. She came back
I
in.
was able to get off my phone. Sorry.
There we go. There we go. Okay.
Okay, you
Cool,
got
cool,
me?
cool.
Okay.
I don't quite feel the same way about that one, given the situation that the cops arrived in and the fact that the girl did have the knife, you know, up and looked
Okay.
like she was going to, stab somebody. I have some issues with some other stuff, but I'll let y'all comment on that. But I do have some issues with black folks because folks
Well,
standing around, the guy that kicked the girl in the head, you know what I'm saying? How come ain't nobody trying to stop the fight? What is up with this that we allow this stuff to happen, that we want to see it happen? It's like we are where the white people were when they were doing lynchings back in the day, and they would come like it was a show. You know what I'm saying? You bring the family, you bring the kids, and you all come out and watch this. This is the kind of stuff that we do in the hood. If something's going on, who's trying to stop it? Nobody, because everybody's standing around watching. They want to see the
And
drama. What
videotaping.
the hell?
okay. Okay. So, on this particular note, I'm more incensed by this whole thing. The dehumanization of that little girl is beyond me. Now, granted, all of those other extracurricular things going on and those adults, oh yeah, there's definitely a need to we got the gremlin back.
I know. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
where, why. I hear it too.
But the need to dehumanize her and not give her her rights. There are some backstories on this whole thing. I pray that all the evidence comes forward, that they don't try to squash things that are not fitting their narrative, because you have 22 seconds. And it's going to be very critical for them to kind of look at that. And then also keep in mind, when a police officer shoots someone, first, second, they're okay. The first two shots, okay. But after that, you have to justify why you kept pulling the trigger
How
on
many
3
times
and
did he
4.
shoot her?
4 times,
Oh,
okay? So, but let's go to the beginning of this thing. One, the two heifers that were, and I'm calling them that because let me just say, I am so pissed. You're going to go to somebody's house and tell them you're going to beat them up. Okay? They had no business being there on that property. Now, yes, she's granted a foster child, but the bottom line is they had no right to be there.
But that's my
Threatening her.
whole point, Mel. That's part of my
Yes.
point about black
Yes.
folks.
Yes.
why
Okay.
are we
So
there? Yeah.
When
okay,
are we
now
going
hold
to
on.
take responsibility for what we do, how we bring some of these situations about?
So my
Because I
take
agree
is
with you.
this.
How the hell they at the house? But go ahead.
Okay, because the foster mother, from what I'm hearing now, I'm absolutely saying this is all things that are being reported, but not necessarily been authenticated. I'll put it that way.
Mhm.
The foster mother called these two ladies. I'm going to get away from the name calling because that's just beneath, but right now, called these two ladies and told them to come over because she was mad at the girl and wanted them to take care of her.
Hmm.
So they come over there to beat her down. Okay? That's one. That's number one for me. It's called hold on here. She, in the state of Ohio, make sure we understand the law. State of Ohio just recently changed their law regarding stand your ground. They extended it to your front yard and wherever you are. So you could be at the mall and you're standing your ground. You can take lethal action against someone else that is threatening your person. So, number one, she had rights. And to strip her of those because of what it looks like is not right. And you're right, it is not a George Floyd situation. This was a fight that was planned for by these people. And apparently, now they're saying, hold on, I have a little visitor, but they're saying that what was it? Okay.
I
They
know
said
she was the one that called the police.
she
That's
called
what's
the
really
police.
sad.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
She called the police, and
She
she's the
called the
one.
police because she knew they were coming to beat her up.
Yeah.
Okay. And 10 to 1, and I don't know this, 10 to 1, the foster mother pushed her out that door, told her to get out of her house. Okay. Because people say, well, why did she go outside? I don't know, but she called the police because you got two women that are planning on beating her up. The one in the little pink jogging suit and the one that was on the ground. Okay, they weren't expecting her to come back and fight them or to
And they
defend
wasn't
herself.
expecting her to be as voracious as as she
Thank you.
was, because she
So
took
as
on
far as
both
I'm
of them.
concerned,
One end up on the ground, and the other would end up pinned up against the car. Come on now,
right?
yeah.
Exactly. This is where
Black
I'm going.
people.
So when you're sitting there saying, "Well, she had a knife," and then people are saying, "What if for your daughter?" My take is this: I love my children. I love them beyond any kind of comprehension. But don't you dare go roll up on somebody and threaten to hurt them with somebody else and think I'm going to sit up there and say, "Oh, it's just they were just going to fight and she just brought out the knife." No, I'm sorry, that's not acceptable. And this is where I'm going back to what you were saying, Kathy. When does it become acceptable for you to go roll up on somebody to go beat them up, and you know how they fight today. They stump people's heads and everything else. So I'm not going to lay on the ground for you. Trust me, you roll up on my house, you are subject to get a bat or something else.
Yeah.
And it will
But
be
how
lethal,
does
because
our
I'm not
stuff,
trying to have that. I'm not going
how
to do
does
that.
our stuff still end up physical all the time? We are always the ones that end up in these physical fights, the fights in the hood, the fights at the mall. When are we going to, and it's not just that, because I was having this conversation with Pam earlier about our whole culture and how we have learned viciousness from the from being brought over here and living through it. And it seems like it just kind of pervades a lot of stuff. The disrespect, for instance, in our music, we are the only group of people that I know that disrespect our own people in the music and stuff. I just, you know,
well, okay. So I'm going to say this, and I'm not defending any of that, but I am going to say they have just as many fights in their hood as we do. Ours get televised because everybody wants to record it and save it. They're chopping up and cutting up their wives and their children and everything else, okay? And throwing them into wells and shooting them and setting the whole house on fire and burning them all up.
yeah,
And
but
yet,
the whole neighborhood ain't coming to see that. Come on, I disagree. They doing that in the privacy of their own home, on their property. They ain't got all the neighbors around watching like we would.
Because they're trying to do it
on in our neighborhood, we outside, and then everybody watching. Nobody trying to stop it. Nobody trying to mediate. Everybody just out there watching like
that part. We 100% agree. We 100% agree. But to take her humanity and her right to defend herself on her property, irregardless of all those, regardless of those people.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all, Mel. That's a whole, completely different thing. I'm just, thinking about how we tend to handle things, and then how they how they can get out of hand based on that. If I was a policeman, I'm sorry, I'm just going to put it out there. If I was a policeman coming up on this situation, what do you do? I see somebody look like they're about to kill somebody else. What do you do?
Okay. Now, here's the thing.
That's all I'm saying. I can understand the response.
I'm going to tell you.
I might have done that, but I can understand it.
I'm going to tell you that I'm a policeman. Okay. You got Jerry. I've got a video. I'll send it to you guys. You got Jerry, who's beating up two officers. Beating them up. Jerry, of course, is white. Jerry beats them up, takes their stick and beats them with their stick, and then takes their car and drives off. Do they fire one bullet? And he almost ran them over. Mind you, this is Jerry, the white guy. And then let's go to Mr. Rittenhouse. I'm walking down the street with an AR-15. I got my hands up. People are yelling, saying he killed two people. He killed two people, and they let him go. And tell the crowd, you get back. Okay? So, wait a minute. I'm just saying, if we're going to do something, and I say the first two bullets, you know what? I understand. I'm not saying it was right because she was the victim. But the bottom line is, the first two bullets, I'm good. But the third,
everybody mute except Mel while she's talking. Let's see if it goes away. It's really loud. Hold on a second, Mel.
Can you all hear me?
I can hear you. It's so much.
Yeah, I can't mute, because if I mute, then everybody's mute.
Now you're muted, Pam.
Diane, mute with me, and let's see if the sounds go away.
Okay. So, yeah, they're gone. I don't know. It's a connection issue, and it's just quality of service not great. But on that, my take is this: for that police officer, I think it was excessive. That's where I'm coming from with him. I don't put it all in his plate.
I just unmuted, and it might be me, so I'm gonna go.
No, it wasn't you. It wasn't you. It's Diane. Can you mute again one more time?
Mute again, Diane. Okay.
Okay, see, it's gone. So there's a QoS issue going on right now for some odd reason.
Yeah, this particular time when Diane muted, now I can't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Nope. I'm unmuted. Let me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now you're muted, Kathy.
I was gonna say, Diane unmuted again. Diane, mute your phone. Mute your sound. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Okay. All right. So Diane, unmute when you want to say something. Otherwise, keep yourself muted because we get some background noise that's coming from your location.
You know what I think it is? It could be this VAP thing that's behind me. Okay.
Okay. Because there can be interference as well. But on that particular note, my take is this: I would not have any problem with that officer based on what was going on to a certain extent. But the third and fourth shot, I feel like he was reckless. And the first thing he did when he got out of his car, he had his gun out. When you coming into a predominantly Black neighborhood and you're that scared, you need to what? Ask for a reassignment or leave the force, because you cannot do that all the time. And he could have come in there with that taser, because when he first got there, that girl was right there in front of him. He could have tased her when she pushed that other girl down on the ground. He could have tased her.
But you walk into a situation and you don't know. We had these people identified us on the video, us we're watching, but you pull up and you don't know. I agree with you though, Mel. I agree completely. You got an automatic pistol. You know what I'm saying? You hit it one time and it's going to shoot 1 or 2 bullets. And then if you pump it the second time, you got 3 or 4 bullets coming out, whether you meant to do it or not. And I really think people don't understand too with those automatic, those automatics, how
I'm sorry, but
fast
you're a
those
trained
bullets
police
will
officer.
come.
You are a trained police officer, and hold up. The guy that shot the 13-year-old boy only shot him once in the chest.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you're trained and you know what the heck you're doing with the gun, now his was kind of like they say split second, but I've got doubts on that one. But he only shot one time. But I bet you if it was someone with blonde hair, blue eyes, the
Pam,
taser would have come out. Okay?
wake up, Pam.
Go ahead, Pam.
I think my question with Kathy earlier, they're trained professionals. Why not aim at the lower extremities in the beginning? Why always aiming at a place where they may kill them right away? With the girl with the knife, they could have shot lower extremity so that she would have dropped the knife and dropped her knees. That would have prevented her from harming the other person, and she'd still be alive. We wouldn't be talking about her now in the past tense. I think in some cases, these are trained professionals. They should be able to aim in lower extremities, not always for the chest or the heart, where they know automatically they may kill them immediately. Now, I'm not seeing enough of that.
There was the same question this morning on one of the talk shows. They had a law enforcement person on, and they said in a situation where it is or appears to be life or death, then they do go for the death shot. It's a lot harder to hit somebody in the legs, and I don't care, in the heat of the moment, than to be able to, to have the broader part of the body that's easier to hit than to try to hit them in the leg or arm and potentially miss the shot.
I'm absolutely 100% with you on that, but there were 3 other officers on that scene, and not one of them drew their weapon. Not one of them.
We've got.
They have a propensity to shoot us first, ask questions later.
Mhm.
With the white guy who can run all around the place with an AR-15, they let him just walk down the street with it, and he's
Yep, and
17
nobody
years old, holding
And
it
that's part of the
illegally.
problem. That's
Mhm.
Okay,
part
so
of the issue
I
that
don't
needs
want
to
to
be addressed.
distract our issues. Yes, we need to address our issues. I'm not saying that we shouldn't address the issues that we have in our community, but I will not let them get off with those issues and using that as the excuse, because that's what happens all the time.
And they're
Let
not.
that
Believe
black
you
on
me,
black
they're
crime in
not. I
Chicago.
have not heard that on TV at all. This is
Oh,
me
no.
as a black person, chick living in the hood, tired of seeing this same old crap and saying that white folks is not all of our problem. That
No,
some of our
no, no, no,
problems
no.
we are bringing on ourselves. That's all.
We-
That's all I was
Yeah,
trying to get
no,
across.
I
You know, like you watch the chick
100%.
down on the ground and the guy walks up and kicks her in the head.
Kicks her in the
Really,
head.
Al? Really? Nobody.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind sometimes.
My take is this. I feel like those 2 women who came over there to fight her contributed to her death, and they should be prosecuted for making terroristic threats, and if they hit her, for assault. They should be prosecuted for that. They caused this girl's death, because had they not come over there, that girl wouldn't have been out there with a knife.
And if the foster mother called them to invited them over,
she needs to go
be
down
prosecuted too.
She needs to go down like with a quickness, and she should be stripped of any ever foster care. Because the bottom line is, why would you call 2 people to come and get this child? If you've got that much of a problem with her, you call the authorities. You call
Thank you.
CPS and have them come pick up
you.
this child. Is that check that important to you? Thank you. That's all I got to say.
Yep.
You know, and that's
Like
a whole nother issue in our community, in some areas, some
Those
people,
checks.
but that's also in the other communities as well. They just
What
don't
rapper made
advertise.
that lyric back in the day and said, "Cause it's all about money, ain't a damn thing funny." He gotta have a job in this land of milk and honey. It really is.
It
you
is.
know it is with her. Yeah, that's why she didn't call her. We both know that's what it is. I used to be a foster parent. You want to keep the check coming.
You want the money.
It is so sad. So sad.
So sad. And
However, now I'm just gonna pivot a little bit to George Floyd, because we didn't get a chance to talk about it since the verdict came out. The verdict came so fast. When it came out, I was at work and I did the happy dance on the floor in the middle of the store. We had a couple of customers in there. You know what? They was happy too. I
was in tears. It was just tearful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was emotional.
It was.
I am glad.
It was, because.
Go ahead, Dan.
Oh, that was it. It was emotional. You had your hand over your heart, and you were just like, it was emotional because it was so needed. So needed. We were on the edge of turmoil. It was just historic.
Yep.
I think so. We needed that. Lord knows where we would be right now if that verdict had came a different way. What Minneapolis might look like right now. What
we needed
what
that.
Chicago might look like right now. Atlanta, St. Louis, for that matter. We had a group that was downtown.
Well, I'm going to say this. The day before, God had given me peace about it, and I posted it on Facebook, so I do have the actual record. I posted guilty, free, all 3 charges.
Yeah.
Boom. End of story.
I was like, did they announce it and I missed it? I saw your post.
Nope.
And I didn't see that, Mel, but I kind of felt that way. I felt like the jury was going to come with the right thing because the case had got presented in the way that it should. I think the defense didn't do anything to defend this man, and I just couldn't see how they could come up with anything else. And
let me tell you, those guys gave a clinic in how to prosecute a case.
They really did.
It's a clinic, and they're going to clean clocks with those 3. They better start trying to get some deals right now. I bet you they peed on themselves when they heard all 3 guilty.
You better believe
guilty.
Yeah. I don't think they were expecting that. Yeah.
No, they
Can
weren't
you
expecting that
imagine
at all.
being on the job 3
You know-
days, you facing murder? The new guy, he was on the job 3, maybe 4 days. And he's first facing murder because he got the wrong trainer and was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And
No,
didn't
because
do it.
he failed to act with integrity, period. Because our sister girl, who also just got her little money from 15 years ago, who was fired for stopping a fellow officer from choking a man to death. He had him in a chokehold. The one in Buffalo. Did you guys see her? Girlfriend got fired back 15 years ago. She had to start
Oh,
driving.
yes, I did see that. Yeah, I saw that a few days ago. You're right. This
she got her money, but that's called integrity. Each and every one of us are responsible to do the right thing. Yes, it could cost you your job. Yes, it could cost you everything. But at the end of the day, the God I serve, I firmly believe in, he showed out because she's getting all that money, her pension and everything. They denied her pension. She was 19 years.
Oh my God. How do you do that?
They denied her everything. And that guy ended up getting kicked off the force because he did it again.
Oh.
Yes.
What city was this?
In Buffalo, New York.
I hadn't heard
so,
that.
you know, what I'm saying here on this is called, when God gives you a sense of peace about something, he's working this thing out. But the bottom line is, while that was a victory dance and nice, it still begs the question. And there was a white guy, his name is Bo. He has a show, a podcast. He said, was this really a victory? Because from the beginning, there was no standard. There was nothing that was done appropriately. It took political pressure to even get these charges brought against these people. It wasn't like this was bad from the beginning. They should have recognized it. The newspapers, you saw the newspaper reports that they showed the day after he was killed. A man had a health incident being arrested.
Well, but that was the report, though, that they were reporting that the police put out. But ultimately, however it happened, to me, it's still a victory. Everybody gets to have their opinion, but I don't place anybody else's opinion above mine. I don't care what they think. I think for us, it was a victory because this is the first time that this, at this level, with this especially level of clues and everything that happened. The police even came out and said that the guy was wrong. When you think about it, the minute his boss saw the video that the teenager, that's when he fired the guy. He didn't fire him right away because he was believing what his worker said until one of his buddies said, you need to look at the video. And when he looked at the video, that's when, oh, no, boo, you got to go. So I have hope that things can and will change. I am glad that happened because we need that. We can't get to the promised land without having these initial victories and these initial things, changes that take place.
Right. What he was addressing, and it wasn't like this is definitely a victory and a praise and an emotional moment, because for me, it made me cry thinking about this man is gone. His family, though, you know, they've been do this thing for 11 months of having to watch that over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, it was just, oof. But at the same time, what we are striving for is not just wins in court after someone's died. Let's not have them die in the first place. Let's address this killing machine. And I think that they just kind of lost their ever-loving mind after this because, oh, I'm still going to shoot you, kind of thing. If there's no video then they feel like they're going to get away with it.
And that's
Yeah.
probably happening when there's no one around to
Oh, I
put
know
on
it
the
is.
phone. We just don't have any numbers for it. I mean, we're almost every couple of weeks there's some kind of shooting. That's
Yes.
a bad statistic.
But I will say this: if you notice, though, we, whether they are or not, we are awake enough now to understand that we need to do that. Because I have been driving down the street and saw a police stop, and I will look over and absentmindedly put my hand on the phone just in case I need to pull over and start doing some taping, because I understand that's my responsibility. If it looks like just something regular, if they don't have them standing out on the street looking crazy, if it just looks like a traffic stop and the person appears like they're calm, then I'll keep going. But I pay attention now where I wouldn't have otherwise. And these little things here, when these doggone things first came out, I was so against them. Because I ain't never been phone girl ever. And like, especially after having a job where you got to answer the phone, you know how it is. You get tired of phones ringing. But I'm so glad I got it now. Just,
it can save your life or others.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. This is the best weapon I have now.
Yeah, and you need to go Facebook Live with it. Don't go try to record it, or because they'll take that phone and try to destroy it, to destroy that evidence. Because the woman that you were talking about that recorded what was going on with this girl, I pray to God that they put that out. But see, my concern is that they have that. Why isn't it out already? Just like they threw out this tape from the officer's vest. Is it not matching the narrative? Because again, this girl was in a stand your ground position, and they don't really want to say that. Okay, and that happens. There was a bouncer that was killed like that in New York. He was a white guy started shooting people in the bar, and the bouncer put him outside and took him and saved people's lives. I think he killed one or two people, but anyway. The police showed up and they shot him because he had that guy in a holding him to prevent
I vaguely remember that.
Remember that one?
Remember that. Yep.
And it was so sad. And so there's that situation where people say, well, what would you do? Well, you just had a black man holding a white man. And the people are screaming at the officer saying, he's not the shooter. The white guy is. And they still shot him.
They're programmed to.
And they said a few seconds, that's all they had. And they saw this guy grabbing this guy. You didn't see him killing him, but guess what? Because he was a black man holding a white man. And that's what I'm talking about.
With the little young dude in Chicago that shot the people when they were demonstrating. Folks were trying to tell the cops, that's the guy you need to get. But oh no, because he was white, it couldn't be him. They looking for somebody else. But he done just shot and killed somebody, It's
that double standard. We can't walk down the street with the AR if somebody stops and says, "Are you okay?" If you was black walking down the street with a gun, nobody asks, "Are you okay?" They're shooting asking questions. Yeah. So yeah.
Yep. Living
and
while
especially
black.
If you got a white crowd behind you saying she just killed 2 people. They would have shot you right on the street. They would have asked the question later.
Instead, you had our president raising money for him, millions for his defense.
Yep. I tell you what, though, if for any of them that are getting any kind of a kick or anything out of this, or you feel superior, you feel powerful, or whatever it is, you better relish that feeling now. Because in another few years, when the tide turns, and you're just another one of the minorities, you aren't going to have the luxury of feeling that way because you won't be in that position. And then
now,
you
don't
will
scare
see
them,
what
Kathy, because they're scared already.
They already scared, right? They already scared. I want them to be scared. They need to be scared of believing this stuff that they're hearing on Fox Entertainment TV, because it's not news, Fox Entertainment.
Right.
They need to be scared of the indoctrination that they're getting. When did America become the land of losers and cheaters? We used to pride ourselves on doing the right thing, on being honest, on working hard. What happened to that? What happened to the, when did we become sore losers?
Remember the guy that
cheaters and
that
losers.
that was like a shoe-in for the presidency. The young, good-looking white guy that had the brown hair. He had the affair with the mistress and everything, and tried to hide it and everything. And when it came out, they forced him out of the election, the running for the what's his name?
That wasn't the one that was, no. He had an affair. I was going to say the one that was married
Yeah,
to
he had an
John.
affair and had a baby out of wedlock.
Oh. You know
Was it Edwards or something? I know who you're talking about.
John Edwards. John Edwards.
Yeah.
That man was a shoe-in. Okay.
He was until he had the affair.
He was a shoe-in. But guess what? Look at Trump. They let him come in, walk in, dance around, talk about he had affairs with a hooker, paid her off, and everything else, and yet they voted for him. And 74 million, after they found out the truth, still voted for him.
Yeah.
And the man never repented or anything else. As one pastor said, one pastor called it cheap grace. He said, we have allowed cheap grace to come into our faith walk because you are supposed to be repentant. You're supposed to ask for forgiveness. And he has done neither one. And they give him all kinds of grace.
He didn't feel the need to. He still got millions of supporters. So why repent? Why even acknowledge it?
Because he
can't name one single verse in the Bible. He couldn't even say Psalms 23.
He didn't even look comfortable. He didn't even look comfortable holding the Bible.
He's holding it upside down.
He's
2 Corinthians.
Holding it.
But don't forget, he did take 2 Corinthians. So.
Oh, okay.
Somebody probably whispered that in his earpiece. And the sad thing is, he went to church. This is what the sad thing. He was a church. He would go to church, and he probably would sit there and be thinking about all the sins he was going to do. He wasn't listening. So, because obviously he wasn't listening. So it's just amazing how busy the devil can be.
He's very busy right now.
There he was sitting there right amongst those saints and amongst those Christians and planning their demise. And his too.
But you're right. In a few years from now, see, but some of them have looked over there and got an eyeful from South Africa. And they're talking about, look at us now, we have nothing. They took all of our land and everything. No, you took that land from them and they just got it back. But that's another one that's a praise report is the Bruce Beach. They got their land back. Bruce Beach.
Is this won. California? The family back in the 20s? Oh, yes. Wonderful. Oh, good. Yes. Okay. Yeah, because it's worth millions. That's cool.
75 million is what they're saying. 50 to 75 million.
That's cool. Okay.
It is.
That's very cool.
So, there is still the right thing being done by people out here in the world. I firmly believe that it's more of us than it is of them. So we just have to keep doing the right thing and putting one right thing in front of the other day after day, like one right foot in front of the other day after day after day until we get to that point. But we are going to have a fight in the next 2 years and the next 4 years with 47 of these states passing these ridiculous voting laws. And we are going to have to personally sacrifice to make sure that we still come out at the levels that we came out before to ensure that we get the results that we need.
Right.
So voting is.
If people are not voting in the local elections are happening right now, and most people have not gone to the polls to vote.
Yeah, our numbers were low, even though we do have our Black female mayor. Our numbers were low in terms of voting. But they kind of expected that too. Yeah,
that's a normal for us. The numbers drop off on the local elections.
But we shouldn't allow that to be normal because that's where things start. It's at the local level, and then they go into the state house and they start making these stupid rules like Florida. You can't even protest anymore, pretty much, without being arrested. If you're not doing,
we've got to make the case. in each of the places that we are, you know, and keep hammering that point of, you know, however you got to do it, get out and vote, you know. So if you can't vote on this Sunday anymore, you know, the souls to the polls, then try to do it that Saturday. You know what I'm saying? But we've still got to do what we can,
right,
to still affect the outcome and let them know we ain't going for the banana in the tailpipe. So you can put as many laws as you want to on the books, and we still showing up.
Yeah.
But your boy
I'm gonna
Josh
show up
Hawley,
with ID, with 2 IDs, with, you know what I'm saying, with a notary public, with a social security card, with the birth certificate. What you want me to have? Because I'm still coming. You ain't gonna stop me.
Yeah.
your boy Josh Hawley was the only one who did not vote for the anti-Asian hate bill.
He know he needs to sit down somewhere.
Missouri's pride and joy. Not the only one. Yes, he was the only one. 94-1 vote. And Josh Aiken. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean Holly. Because that's what he seems like to me. Another Todd Aiken. Oh. It is embarrassing sometimes to live in the state of Missouri. I'm just gonna say it.
You guys have an opportunity, though. You guys have an opportunity right now to flip both of those seats, because they certainly didn't think old girl was going to get in there, and she won, Cori Bush. So you guys can do this.
Oh my! I didn't expect her to get in either.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So you guys can do this.
Let's see.
We need to penetrate the central part of the state, or alternatively, we need to have every Black in Kansas City and St. Louis and the surrounding areas to come out and vote. That's the only way.
Absolutely. That's it.
Y'all got to vote. Yeah.
We could do it, but we've got to do it from the ends. It's got to be St. Louis and Kansas City. You know,
our 2 urban areas.
Yeah. Springfield, and even the other college states.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, college towns. So like a Springfield or Jeff City, you know, where those populations, you know, probably would get out and vote. At least until they change the laws, and then you can't vote in that state if you're at college. It's just
if that's not your home state.
It's mind blowing the things that they're doing, because they can't, you know, they don't have an agenda and they can't win, so they got to cheat.
They're cheating. Absolutely.
Yeah. When all said and done, they're cheating.
But like you said, Kathy, I believe on that positive note that, you know, God is working this thing out, and he's working it for our good. But we have a responsibility to do the right thing. And those people that keep on doing these things, it's 2 steps forward and you're taking us 3 steps back. Stop the madness. You can't, you're hurting yourselves, right? And as far as I'm concerned, you're not going to hurt me. You are not going to hurt me, because I'm going to call you out when you do it. That was the first thing I did note when I posted about this thing, was the fact that how dare those adults stand up there and do nothing.
Yep.
You know, I'm sorry, I hold all of them accountable for that, getting to that particular point. I really just do, because there wasn't anybody.
I just don't feel like, you know, I can stand up there and not try to intervene some kind of way. As an adult.
I would have told those 2 ladies to leave. I would have made them leave, because then that little girl would have stayed right there. And if they left, then that would have been squashed for that day at least. But, you know, she's gone. And it's just sad. It's just sad. Because I've got right out of the 17, and it broke my heart to even hear that.
It
we
really
got a lot of little kids being killed here. I was talking to Kathy about that too. Our numbers are higher, almost 20 people more than the same time last year. And several of them were children the age of 5. So
oh, Lord.
They're aiming for someone else, and the kids are just, you know, happen to be in the wrong spot. You know.
Yeah. And even here, many more women.
They're on their bouncy toy in the middle of the street. A bunch of kids on the big inflatables, and they got shot on the inflatable, like a 2 or 3 year old
playing.
Oh, crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So I know we're at
Okay.
7:49. So I'm gonna
Diane.
change the flavor just a tiny little touch before we go to Diane's and what to think about this week. So I was watching the View earlier this morning, I believe, and Whoopi must have been talking about, and I kind of I was half absent-minded paying attention, but I thought I heard her talking about either a movie or something that they developed. But here's the thing: the character is a older woman superhero, but she's a woman that is at menopause age. So she goes out to do her superhero stuff, but she's also trying to deal with the hot flashes and that kind of stuff. And how do you make that work as a superhero and still do your thing? And I was like,
It's a
yes,
movie.
because she was talking about something about either them doing a treatment for it or whatever it was. But yeah, it was definitely something that was
Oh
in the
my
works. And
God.
I thought, oh my God, can you imagine? Because we don't have superheroes. Think about this.
Mm-mm.
Menopausal women
They
do not have superheroes out there that we
don't
can look
tend to
up to
go
and
hand
relate
in
to.
hand. They don't tend to go hand in hand either.
Why?
Menopausal women are
Why
superheroes.
not? You can still fly and shoot
Oh my
people with your
God.
rays and stuff, but if you have that hot flash, you got to come down and get you a little bit of air. I mean, I thought it was a
I,
great
I'd
idea.
rather see the I'd rather see the superhero be a woman of wisdom, that
Mm-mm.
outthinks
I don't care how much
everybody.
wisdom you have when that hot flash hits, you still got the.
Yeah,
I
but
am
I'd
very
rather see you
intense.
do that like that in a chair with your suit on versus with a cape on, because that ruins the whole
See,
picture.
It's intense. You
y'all
never know when it's
discriminating
gonna show
against
up.
us. Y'all discriminating against us. What makes you think that I can't vanquish that villain and still have
Mm-mm.
that high flash? I can wipe that sweat off a little bit later. It's just that it's gonna come where that younger chick ain't gonna have that sweat on her bra. Okay.
Mm-mm.
She gonna get my age, hopefully, if she live long enough. And then she gonna have
This
to
is
be
true.
Wonder Woman eventually gotta wipe that sweat off.
Oh my God. Wonder Woman. Okay. I
Okay,
hadn't
I've got
heard
to
that
watch this
one.
show.
They
Yeah,
all
me
gotta
too.
age. Think
I
about
had
it.
to stream it.
Robin eventually had to get old at some point in time. He had to get a bigger pair of tights. Come on now.
Okay.
I think it's all good. Why not?
What's your
In this day and
what
age, why not have an older woman?
in
That's
charge?
right.
Okay. So what's your thought for us for the day,
Now,
Diane?
give us something to think about for this week.
Okay. Well, think about this. Oh, the worst, here it is. The worst
Uh-oh.
of all tragedies is not to die young, but to live until I am 75 and yet not ever truly to have lived.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Yes, that's true.
Yep,
Mm.
yep. That's a long
Do
time
I
to just
do I need
exist.
to read that again?
Yes,
Because this
yes.
is right. Try read it again. Oh, the worst. Oh, the all tragedies is not to die young, but to live until I'm 75 and yet not ever truly to have lived.
Yeah, that's it.
Guess who
Yep.
said it? Take a guess who quote that is?
Oh,
We didn't hear you. Who's?
Martin
Uh,
King Jr.
oh,
mm,
okay, okay. Well, I certainly completely agree with that. You've got
And
to live your life.
it, I mean, it is something to think about.
mm-hmm.
What's the point in I mean, imagine getting to 75 years old and saying, you know what, I really have not lived. Or
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
imagining tomorrow is the last day and you haven't lived. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of been sticking with, full life at 39. compared to
Yeah,
someone 75 and who have not truly lived.
Mm-hmm.
I
So now
agree.
I'm
I don't
defining
want to.
what's truly what's truly living. What's
Mm-hmm.
truly living?
Mm-hmm.
Think about. Are you
That's a good one.
truly living?
That's a good one.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Something to think about for sure. All right. Thank you very much for that,
Yeah.
Miss
Thank
Okay.
you, ladies.
Diane. We got something to think
Mhm.
about for the next week. Let us hope and pray that we have better news in the coming week. You know, that hopefully some young Black person doesn't get killed
Yes.
by police officer, and and we're yet again watching, the next
Yeah.
tragedy happen.
Yeah.
So
I
And
agree.
that our children are not being murdered at our
Mm-hmm.
own hands, with our own
Mm-hmm.
hands,
Mm-hmm.
um, through stray bullets, like the little girl in the McDonald's
Yeah.
drive-through.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And
yeah.
then we all need to dig into
Hmm.
your connections or whatever, because with the infrastructure bill supposedly moving along, we need to figure out a way to hook Mel up with President Biden, because part of the whole talk of this is the retraining and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Hmm.
I think that she needs to have
Perfect timing.
bigger
Mm.
connections. So we
It's
need to
getting
figure out
so
a way
much
to get you
better.
hooked up to the administration so that you can work this product, this project into part of the plans, because it's definitely
Absolutely.
what's needed.
Okay.
We
Sounds
are
good.
we are very close. And we are working on two other companies to join into this particular um, effort, so that we can go to them and say we have these heavy hitters that want
Mm-hmm.
to partner with us to make this happen. And we'll use them as a pilot companies to work it out.
More, more. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Love it.
Oh.
But we are
I
praying
love
for you.
it.
I'm
Yes.
excited for you. I really am.
Yes. Yes.
So everybody has things going on. Diane's low key, but even she got
Yeah.
stuff going on. So next week we'll do an update with everybody and see what you got going on, what's good
Mhm.
happening. We have time enough to talk about
Oh,
the current
that
event.
sound good.
I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yes.
Let's do a little
How we're
update of what
making a
everybody
difference. How
Okay.
we're
could, because
making a
it'll be
I
difference.
the
like
end of
that
the month.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be
Great.
our 26th show, which is like the end of the season, because that's a whole season's worth of shows. So we'll do a little update for everybody.
Okay. Cool.
And if we're
Okay.
lucky, Renee join. So there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
What about a little wine? What
A
about a
little
little
wine.
wine?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good thing. Everybody have
It's
something. We'll do a little
anniversary.
toast next
Okay.
week.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do a toast. All right, all
Sounds
right.
good.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
thank you, Miss
everybody.
Sexies, for joining. Thanks everybody for
All
watching.
right.
We'll
You
see you
guys have
next
a
week.
great
Same
week.
bad time, same bad channel.
All right.
Bye.
Okay. Bye bye.